You go.
All right, here we go. All right. Hello, everyone. We welcome you today. Our topic today is emotional resuscitation. We welcome you to our progress where we infuse purpose, invigorate minds, and we ignite change. We're going to get into our topic today. We're excited about it. If you saw us like 10 seconds before, we had a lot of energy, so we want to keep that energy going right into the conversation. Uh, and so, with emotional resuscitation, you get a picture of either somebody that you may is having trouble breathing and they need kind of like chest compressions to kind of get them restarted or get them recharged. And so for a lot of us, it's similar in the same way of our emotions. It's like either we feel that one, uh, we're not as active or lively as we were, or because we're so emotionally weighted down, then we can't really live the life we want to live because we're just carrying around so much emotional baggage that is not allowing us to enjoy our day to day. So we're gonna get into it. We're gonna present some different examples and visuals for you so you can connect with, because once we get further into the discussion, I think a lot of people will identify with emotional resuscitation and why they need it in their life and how they get to the point where they need to be resuscitated. So I guess the first question that I'll start off with is, um, what could be one area that emotionally people need resuscitation in your opinion?
I I think that just their ability to be able to connect with their emotions or feelings about just situations that they experience in regards to life, and so because when I think of emotional resuscitation, I think about somebody that's numb. So they don't experience joy. They don't experience they don't even experience the pain because they've either been beaten down or they've gone through so many hardships that life is not within them. They're existing. And so it's almost like being on autopilot and going through the motions. And so that's kind of how I frame emotional resuscitation. And so they need people to breathe life back into them, and breathing life back into them can be establishing a community around them, or breathing life back into them would be them connecting with their purpose.
Okay. I like that. I like that vision. I'm gonna go to Jeffrey and I'm gonna come back because I caught something in there that I want to come back to, but I'm gonna let Jeffrey go.
But yeah, definitely. Like I said, in this day and age right now, you just emotionally you just numb to everything that's going on around you. So yeah, definitely. Just trying to get that, get your feelings back, and just not being numb to everything that's going on.
Okay. Yeah. One thing what Kendrick said that I want to come back to, like breathe, like breathe life into people. Um, and one way, I think we said it one time before, is you either speak life into people and like
Mm.
giving them something that can help restart them or recharge them. And that could be one way that people can start to get resuscitated, is
Mm.
that people speak positive things into people
Yeah.
with the intentions of helping them restart emotionally. Because it's one thing to just say something because it sounds good, but
Mm.
it's another to be intentional in what you say towards certain people because of their situation. So
Yeah.
like I may know that Jeffrey going through a situation, so I'm intentionally saying stuff that's gonna connect to not just the bad parts of his situation, but how he can come out of it.
Yeah.
And so it's like my words can be more encouraging, and I can be intentional saying this, not just say like, "Oh, well, I helped Jeffrey out." It's like, no, I think this is what he needs to hear. Let me say this to
Yeah.
kind of help jump on or restart.
No, but yeah, that's a great point. You're not doing it, for you. You're doing it because you're compassionate about your fellow, man or woman. because you want, to inherently help them, be better. And the visual, as you was talking, Terrence, that I got was of the UCLA basketball team. They always show this commercial. I think the guy, he made a huge mistake. Who was, one of the centers of power force, and he was walking down the court with his head,
Oh yeah, I saw
down,
that.
and then
Yeah.
one of his teammates came from behind him and he pushed his head up, and
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of what we need. No matter what mistakes we made or no matter what challenges, we need people in our life to help pick us up. But we also need to be reminded that you can always come back from a mistake or a mishap. That doesn't define you, and that doesn't, that's not the total person you are. That's just a piece of you and what you've done. And so I definitely believe a lot of people need to connect with what we're talking about today in regards to emotional resuscitation, because there are a lot of people that experience trauma, and a lot of time we pack all that stuff down, and we can become numb and we can avoid everything, and that's the way we get through. And so we need to show people that there's other ways to get past their pain, their trauma, their experiences, but we also need a lot of people to be accountable in helping others, get better.
Okay.
I got a quick question.
Okay.
So, we talking about, being, emotionally numb and all of that. I guess
Mhm.
what's some symptoms or signs of somebody that's emotionally numb?
Okay. So I would say one is they're disconnected. That's one way that you can tell that somebody's numb. And you know how it's kind of like the visual of like the person's body is there, but the rest
Yeah,
of them is not there. It's almost like like you have like an avatar of yourself or something like that. It's like you present and like your body is present, but everything else about you is not. And that could be the experience of it. But I think the way people get numb to things is because they overwhelm or overload themselves with too much stuff. Sometimes it could be too much information. Sometimes it could be too many relationships with people. And then sometimes it could be too much emotional content.
yeah,
And because they don't have ways to kind of manage or categorize different things that's going on in their life, it can make them numb because starting to actually feel it will maybe overwhelm them. And so
yeah,
it's like the the feeling of being numb is actually more like a defense mechanism because it's like this numbness is balancing out the stuff that's really behind my numbness.
yeah,
Because I could be a lot more, hurt or upset or angry or whatever like that. But if I'm numb to it all, then I don't have to feel it or process it or do something with it.
yeah.
And that-
Yeah, and then the other, like Terrence was saying, the other piece of it is they don't respond appropriate to their natural emotions. For natural emotions, you experience a whole gamut of emotions, but people that can be numb may only feel comfortable showing one emotion, and that may
Mhm.
be anger. Then the other piece is, like I said, they don't allow themselves to feel. So, that's kind of how you can tell if you're numb and you may be in need of emotional resuscitation, because like Terrence said, you don't want to connect, and you're disconnected or detached.
Mhm. Yeah, one thing, a visual I got just while you was talking. You know how you have like the oxygen mask that you put over your mouth, and for a lot of us, we've been trying to do so much on our own that we kind of need a little breather where we get a shot
Mhm.
of some pure oxygen because stuff we've been taking in and breathing in is not been helpful to us. So sometimes we just need a mask or just like a shot of some real oxygen just to kind of restart ourselves. So just like, a lot of times you watch football and stuff, it'll be a play. He might have ran a kickback or something like that. And at the end, he's like, I'm tired. Let me get this oxygen, like, because I just burned out all my air. You know what I'm saying? like we've been running so long, and like we just let me let me just breathe, let me catch my breath for a minute. And I think a lot of us, that's how we are day to day. Like on the outside, it's like we're doing so well, but like internally, we're like, man, if I just had like a shot of something that would just, kind of help. Not, not a shot of like
Yeah,
drink,
but
but like
like a
a
shot of
shot, yeah, a shot of something, so that's more positive. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't want to be like, we trying to promote people taking shots and
yeah.
stuff.
And then a
Right.
lot of people, don't want to acknowledge when they need, you know, to be resuscitated in regards to their emotions, because, like I said, it may serve some type of function or purpose. Like Terrence was saying, if you unpack all the stuff that you were experiencing, all that stuff rises to the surface, and then you got to deal with it. So sometimes we got to be emotionally equipped to deal with those things. But like I said, it's a lot of people that need emotional resuscitation, and I promise you, if you deal with what you're experiencing, it will get better. But the further you pack it away, you just prolong the process of suffering. And I'll say it again, you prolong the process of suffering, and that's not something that somebody else is imposing. That's a self-imposed sanction that you put on yourself. Because you can suffer and it could be external, but you also can suffer and it be internal. And we have to learn to choose, or we got to learn to recognize which one it is. And then we have to, find ways to get out or to allow others to help us with it.
Oh, I saw I like them two comments. So let me go back to them like that. Yeah, let me go back to that. Okay, so emotional CPR is needed. Disconnect to connect. This way to living. Yeah, like emotional CPR. That's what a lot of people need. But this one right here, sign of the D, do not resuscitate because complacency is comfortable.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Yeah,
And
I like.
it go back to something you said a couple of lives ago about your pain informs you.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't understand what our pain is telling us, then that's when we can get to that numbness part, and not understand the process of what's happening. Because a lot of people's pain has allowed them to go on and do remarkable things, and in advocacy for others. And so you find your strength sometimes through the struggle and through the pain, and it's okay, because everybody can somehow connect with some type of struggle. Our struggles may be different, but then what do we give ourselves to resuscitate us?
Yeah.
The question. What do
Well,
you give yourself to resuscitate?
I'm writing that down, and then I'm gonna come. I got another reply.
Okay.
All right,
Take your
so
time.
yeah, I'm trying to write and do this at the same time. All right, so a lot of times, so with the DNR, like do not resuscitate. For people that's not really familiar with what that is, if you go to a hospital and you have like a major surgery or whatever like that, or if somebody like in a coma or whatever, a DNR like a do not resuscitate. If something happens, like they saying like they don't want to be revived,
Yeah.
and so with that, a lot of people are through their actions showing that they have a DNR. It's like they're not allowing people to help resuscitate them.
Mhm.
And because of that, it's like I don't want to say like they're signing their own death certificate, but in a sense they're allowing a piece of them to remain dead.
Yeah.
And they're okay with it. Even if they're saying stuff to the contrary, like, oh, I want this, I want that. Because with that, it's like your whole identity is anchored into pain. And if your anchor is pain, then the only way to kind of set your own course is just like with a boat. A boat sets its anchor down, they won't be able to move.
Mm.
And a lot of times that's what keeps people stuck in their pain because their pain is attached to an anchor. And you have to pull that anchor up
Yeah.
in order to remove the pain in order to go forward. And so that's how people can be living dead because they're anchored to things that's gonna keep them emotionally dead.
Yeah. And so I wrote down the last thing you said. I wrote emotionally dead as you was talking, and then
Uh-huh.
I wrote giving up.
Yeah.
Um, and like I said, some people can be beaten down so much emotionally that it feels easier to give up. Again, that's when you gotta find out what you're fighting for, and you gotta find out what your purpose is. And, because purpose can connect you, to your destiny if you accept it. So I'll say it again. Purpose can connect you to your destiny, if you accept it. And so we have to learn, like we talked about when people use the AED to, give you the shock and bring people back to life. We have to, help people discover what they need emotionally to revive themselves. What's the combination of things that you need to show that you're ready to live and thrive and not exist? Because grass exists. People cut grass, it grows, it exists. You know, and when we're meant to live life and it's action oriented, so we're meant to experience a lot of things. We're meant to experience happiness, fun. We're meant to laugh. And so if you're not allowing yourself to go through all those gamut of emotions, then that's a sign that can show that, hey, maybe you may be getting close to that numbing period. If you cut yourself off from friends, if you cut yourself off from family, and you just kind of okay with being with you, but not experiencing what you have to offer, those are signs to say, hey, maybe it's time to do something about what I'm experiencing.
All right,
Go
till
ahead.
you got. Now, I was gonna say, so what is so what are some, I guess, emotional shocks or physical shocks that people may need in order to get resuscitated,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, it makes sense. I would say one is to kind of declutter your life. A lot of times people have so much stuff, and I'm not talking about like material stuff. It's just things or old emotions or past events and just all kind of stuff that they're holding on to that in order to be resuscitated, you got to be willing to give some stuff up. Because even if somebody, give you the charge and shock you, they don't do that to do it again in like another hour or another week or another month. That shock is to restart you, but then you got to do some stuff after that. And so a lot of time when people have like near death experiences, they change like a lot of things that they used to be concerned about. They're not because they find out what really matters. So I think that goes into part of it, like find out what really matters to you versus what other people expect you to care about. I guess that's one part. The other part would be um, is allowing yourself to feel. A lot of times, that's why people need emotional resuscitation because they've been so detached from their feelings or how they feel about things, and so they need that jolt to be like, oh, that, oh, okay. It's like you kind of need that jolt to remember that you're alive because some people are just they're living life with blinders on, and until something kind of shakes them up, it's like, oh wait, it's like you can see what's you can look outside or whatever like that, but you can't really grasp what you're looking at, or you can look at the sun. The sun could be bright, it could be nice outside, but it doesn't feel like that to you because in your mind you're living your experience through your head so much that you're just in your thoughts or emotions or whatever, and you're not allowing yourself to be present.
Yeah.
So what
Uh,
would you say? There's a lot of people have sight but no vision.
yeah,
Yeah.
because it's almost like if you have, different, we have different, vision, 2020 vision, 2015, 2030, some of our sight is better or worse. But if you don't have great sight, you can always get glasses that allow you to see better. A
Mhm.
lot of people, they don't even want to get glasses to see what they're missing. They're just comfortable with being blinded to like their opportunities or their potential. So because that's what they used to, that's what they continue to, they kind of like go through life blind for the most part, but not blind to actually being able to see, but blind to actually seeing their self authentically and true in
Yeah.
their own emotions. Yeah.
Yeah. And then a lot of people don't know who they are. So I use the word emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is how well you know yourself and how you connect with others. Um, but it's your ability to know when different parts, when it's time to change seasons in your life. So what I mean by that, every you have expiration dates to things, but a lot of time people don't know how to move on from things that have expired in their life. So they don't know how to kill off the parts of themselves that does not fuel them or doesn't replenish them. So I'll say that again. People don't know how to kill off the parts of themselves that does not fuel them or replenish them. So fuel gives you energy and it can sustain you. Replenish, give it revives you and gives you what you need because you're missing something. And we stay connected and attached to things that hold us down or hold us back. And then a lot of times we can look external for what we're seeking. And at the end of the day, the answer always comes when we look in the mirror. And a lot of times people just don't focus on just taking that deep look into the mirror to see what's happening within and
Mhm.
to be honest about them, honest with themselves that hey, this is where I am. um, how do I get better or how do I move forward? And then, like I said, it's about surrounding yourself with the right community of people. People that speak life or breathe life into you, um, and they help you get better.
Mhm. Yeah, I had a visual of what you were saying. So you were talking about holding things past the expiration date. So we all have bought milk, and
Mhm.
milk that goes past its expiration date, it turns sour. So
Yeah,
if you don't pay attention to the expiration date and you pour the milk on your cereal or you just pour your glass of milk and then you like, it's like your face changes, like, oh man. And a lot of us, that's what we're doing with relationships or things in our life is that
yeah,
we're holding on to them past the expiration date, and it's causing our life to sour,
yeah,
to be worse than it could be because we're still drinking stuff that's not pure. It's like we drinking our own poison.
yeah,
And so, like, oh, you drinking sour milk, and like, oh, my stomach hurt. Well, it's because it passes expiration date. And
yeah,
so, if you continue to have these relationships and things that you just trying to buy things, material things, and
mhm,
things that holding them past the expiration date, they're gonna continuously make you sick, and not just sick like physically, but to a point where you sick to where you're disconnected from the things that you were supposed to be focused on. And
yeah,
so it's like just like Kendra was saying, if you got things that's inspired, throw them out. Like that's why you got a garbage can. If stuff expired,
yeah,
put them straight. Like you can take them out there, like so you can take them out there to the curb and let the garbage man pick it up. But
yeah,
a lot of us, we don't want to give things away. We're so accustomed to having things around us that we'll hold stuff that's toxic to our life.
yeah. No, that's good. I was writing down pros and cons.
Mhm.
Sometimes we just got to examine things in our life and look at the pros and cons. The pros is what function it serves that supports us, and the cons is what it takes away from us. And we have to be able to cut ties after we evaluate the situation. We got to be okay with cutting ties with people and situations if it's going to allow us to get ourselves back, and it's going to allow us to plant our feet on solid ground, to move forward. You know, um, a lot of times we look for other people to give us what we're missing, especially in relationships. That's not what relationships are meant to do. Relationships, each person is meant to add something to the other person. You're not supposed to take anything away from them in regards to make them deficient of something. You're supposed to add something to them, and that's going to be really important. And so if we set ourselves up for relationships, and these can be any type of relationships where it allows us to be deficient or allows us to be malnourished in some situation, then we got to really do a reality check and ask ourselves, do we want resuscitation, or are we okay with being emotionally dead?
Yeah. And to add on what you were just saying, you deserve to be revived. A lot of people don't believe that. They don't believe that their life is supposed to be lived in a way that they feel alive,
Mhm.
because they've been feeling this way for so long. They don't believe that good things are supposed to happen.
Mhm.
And so part of it is the denial that, okay, I'm supposed to have a good life because bad things have happened, bad experiences have happened. And so it's like, this is my normal, and I'm embracing my normal, which
Yeah.
is uh, a life unlived. And that's not the truth. The whole thing about being resuscitated is, once you get resuscitated, you get that reminder of, hey,
Mhm.
my life matters and my life has value and worth, not only to myself, but other people. And let me start connecting to people that's really understanding of what I'm here to do.
Yeah.
Because that's part of it too. A lot of times people need to be resuscitated because they've been around people that's drained them so much
Mhm.
they don't have the energy to go forward,
Yeah.
because they've been around people that are, yeah, I'm just gonna say it like I'm saying, they kind of like parasites. They just been sucking the life out of them, and they've been getting full, and then you shriveled up and you wither away because you've been feeding other people, and they're like, oh yeah, like, oh, I like being around, like, yeah, of course, because you getting fat, and I'm dried up.
Yeah.
Like, you can drive me up. So of course you feel good. I don't feel good.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that can keep us from having to continually be resuscitated, is remove ourselves from the parasites in our life.
Yeah. And
And
so,
if
go,
you
go
know, and
ahead.
if we do that, that will keep us from having the cycle of having to be resuscitated. Because, like I said, people that, the EMT, paramedics, and stuff,
Mhm.
now they'll come and revive you one time. Now, don't keep calling. You need an ambulance like every couple weeks to
Yeah.
get revived again and again and again, because somebody else needs that. So
Yeah.
you just holding no progress because you just continually asking for stuff, but you're not doing the
Doing
work
everything. Yeah.
once it's done.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so once you get resuscitated, don't keep waiting for people to resuscitate you again. You got to do something after that.
Yeah.
That's just a jump start. It's not to sustain you. Yeah.
Because that's a pattern that we have to recognize. You know, and so as you were talking, I wrote down, know the environment that sucks the life out of you, and know when you're in an environment that sucks the life out of you, because sometimes people can be deemed as unreliable and lazy, but they're not unreliable and lazy. They're just in an environment that does not stimulate them and does not breathe life into them, and they can't be the best version of themselves until they remove themselves from their situation. So you can think about a companion relationship, you can think about in a workplace, you can think about the church. If you're not at the right church, you can think about your circle of friends, when you go on vacation, if you're in a group of friends, sometimes a group of friends might just suck the life out of you. And that's how that, hey, I need to maybe distance myself or change my circle, because if I can't be me and I can't be enjoy myself because of the presence of other people, hey, your emotions are setting off all these alarms telling you, hey, that you need to change something, but you're just not listening to yourself. And so that's why emotions are so important, because they're just alarms signifying something is happening or something needs to change, or it's informing you, and you're just not recognizing it, or you don't want to listen to what your emotions are telling you. So
Now that's,
yeah,
that's good. That's good with the alarms, because a lot of people they hear the alarm and they hit snooze and they hit snooze and they hit
mhm,
snooze,
yeah,
and so the alarm it loses its effectiveness the more we hit snooze. So
yep,
like if we don't set an alarm, our alarm needs to uh get our attention to have us to move into an action. But if you
yeah,
just set an alarm just to hear alarm, then you might well not set an alarm
yeah.
because
What's the purpose of doing it? Because you're not
yeah,
gonna listen to it anyway.
right, yeah. And so I like what you were saying, because that's our body is telling us, is internally we have all these alarms
Mhm,
and we've been hitting snooze on ourselves for so long.
yep,
And so then when something bad happens, or we have, we burn out, or we just kind of just emotionally drained, our body looking at it like, I've been trying to tell you the whole time. You haven't been listening to me. If you listen to me, I can help you, but you just been you've been
mhm.
ignoring me so much. So let me go ahead and sit you down for a minute
Hey,
so you're
see,
listening.
I'm gonna tell them in the words of my mama, like she used to tell me growing up. It got a lot of people from Missouri, the show me state. Your body
Yeah,
keep telling you what's happening. It keep trying to show you, but you not
yeah,
listening. When it shut
yeah,
down on you, oh, okay,
yeah,
I need to listen to you.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
'cause
Mhm.
you just rejecting everything that your body is telling you. And at some point you're gonna have to listen. You know,
yeah.
life, like you say, is undefeated. Life gonna
Yeah,
teach
you
you
feel
better
it, man.
than anything else. So you may as well, listen and value you, and focus on, being in a constant state of resuscitating yourself. And that's balance.
Okay, so I'm gonna answer this. So what happens when the alarm clock is so far out of reach and you can't hit snooze? I would
Mhm.
say in that instance, you put it out of reach
Mhm.
intentionally.
Yeah.
So yeah, you
Yeah,
did.
because that just seeing that gave me a visual back in college, so that way I wouldn't oversleep. To get up
Mm-hmm,
and go to class. My
mm-hmm,
alarm clock used to be on the other side of the room, so in
mm-hmm,
order for me to get up, in order for me to cut it off, I got to physically get up to go
Yeah.
cut it off. So
mm-hmm,
like, okay, well, since I'm up, I might as well stay up. Go ahead and get ready, because
Mhm.
if you got it close to you, like you said, you could just hit snooze,
Mhm.
turn back over, and you're gonna go back to sleep, and then
mm-hmm,
you're gonna be late for class or
mm-hmm,
for, for life in
mm-hmm,
general.
mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
And that was a good visual right there, because
yeah,
you got to make an effort to change something. When it's right beside you, all you can do is hit snooze. But you just gotta get up and make the changes that you want to see in your life. And that's why we always talk about being the change that you want to see in the world. It starts with you. I can't point the fingers at anybody about me. I can point the finger at myself, because I got to be the a person that has the urgency to do the things in my life. I got to provide the resurgence in my life to navigate the courses that I want to navigate. And then I can't be afraid to reach out if I need something, or I'm deficient in areas, to my support systems, because then they're gonna be like, yeah, I see that you may need this. This is kind of how we can give it to you, or this is what we can
mhm,
do to help, or be an accountability group for you. So we just have to look at those things.
yeah. I don't know why as you were talking, that old Good Mob song came to my mind. Get up, get out, and get some. It
Mhm.
just that. It came to my mind when you talk, because that's what it talking about. You just like don't let your whole life pass you by. You just sitting there, like you just get up, get out. And I think for a lot of times for people, we just been so conditioned to thinking that life, well, if we just do nothing, it will be provided to us.
Yeah,
And I think a lot of times we just been so spoiled in certain instances that we expect people to do for us what we're not willing to do for ourselves. So it's like we want people to climb mountains for us, and then we won't even like walk up a hill for ourselves.
yeah,
And that's that's the whole point of it. Is like don't expect people to do above and beyond what you already doing for yourself. But
yeah,
if you trying you trying to get up the mountain, I can help you get up the mountain. But if I'm trying to climb a mountain and then you're not even going up the hill and you tired already,
yeah.
I can't right there. You
I
gotta at
can't.
least get up
Yeah,
the hill
I
first
can't.
before
Yeah,
I
you,
get up the
you
mountain.
can't. You can't pull yourself and somebody else for the duration because at some point both of y'all are gonna wear out.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, these are just the things we're discussing today are ways to kind of uncover or identify if you need emotional resuscitation. But we have to know that it's our responsibility, the person itself, to do it. Because you're not going to have someone around you all the time, to give you what you want or need. So you got to be able to give yourself these things. And then you got to treat yourself the way you want others to treat you. I'll say it again. We have to treat ourselves and be the example for how we want other people to treat us. Because if we don't, we're giving them permission to, walk over us or treat us whatever way they want to.
Mhm.
And that's because you allow it. It's not because they just have that power. And then that's another piece with emotional resuscitation. We have to learn, not to give our power to situations and people. And we have to learn to hold on to that, and, acknowledge that that's who you are.
Okay. I got a follow up question for that because like the last part what you were just saying, I was trying to visualize that. So I guess it's kind of like you were saying, giving power or having power, taking away power or whatever.
Mm,
Um, so if you have a generator, a generator is for backup. So
mm,
9 out of 10, you already have a source of power, but if the power goes out or whatever, you have a generator that cuts on and then kind of
yeah,
back power and cuts everything back on. Um, so for a lot of us, we are the lights for a lot of other people, but not only are we the lights, once we get depleted, then our generator is going toward other people too.
yeah,
We getting drained twice because our reserves are getting sent to somebody else too. So we have to point people to their own generator and not feel like we have to be the generator for everybody because
yeah,
that gets us in the point of having that to need resuscitation because like I'm willing to give you all my power, but then also my reserve power too.
yeah,
But people need to realize they have reserve power that they haven't cut on yet because they haven't ever had to need to tap into it.
yeah.
So they don't know they got it. So
No, that's good stuff. You know, everybody got to understand a generator needs maintenance. So you got to add fuel, oil, all those things. And so in life, you got to give yourself the things that's going to sustain you. And but you got
yeah,
to, everybody needs maybe different or wants maybe different. You got to figure out what combination of things work for you, and then you got to ensure that you give yourself that, on a consistent, basis.
yeah. Um, I was thinking about something else. One thing that because people could be listening to what we're saying is like, okay, that sounds good and yeah, that's helpful. But it's like, okay, well, how do I start to do that in my day to day life? Um, to actually one identify if I need emotional resuscitation or if I feel like okay, I'm on the path to kind of being in like resurgence, like what I need to do to prevent needing resuscitation again.
Mm.
And I guess it's just the way you have to look at it on multiple levels in your life.
Yeah.
So it's all about, and it's not even balanced. It's almost like um, having things in sync to where you need them. So everybody has different levels that they can operate on in different areas in their life. You have to know, like, uh, feel like people with a thermostat.
Yeah.
Some people like the house hot. Some people like it cold. You know where your thermostat lies, but if you compare your house to somebody else's house, like, oh, well, it's hot. Well, let me do that and compare it. Then you'll always be unbalanced because you set your levels on somebody else's. So you had to identify, like, okay, well, how much of this do I need? How much time to myself do I need? How
Mm.
much interaction do I need? How much do I need to watch TV or watch Netflix or read or whatever? And you have to create your own kind of, you need a manual to yourself that you can pull out and say like, okay, this is what I need to do in these areas.
Mm.
Because you know, if you don't have a manual to yourself, you can't take yourself back to to the manufacturer and say like, hey, you know, my
Mm.
warranty ran out. Can y'all fix this or fix this? Like you gotta do that for yourself.
Yeah.
That's what you gotta do for yourself. So you have to know, just you know, just like the saying said, you know, you have to know thyself. You have to know yourself
Yeah.
in order to understand what things you need and where your levels need to be. Because if not, you're gonna always need to be resuscitated because you're gonna either burn yourself out, stretch yourself out too thin, or allow yourself to be used as a power source by other people. And you have to identify which one of those issues or concerns is your issue. And then that's how you can kind of go forward.
All right.
So
Well,
Go
I
ahead,
got
Jeff.
one quick. I got one
Okay.
quick. So for the people who I guess they're always using someone else. I guess to kind of feel that emotional void or whatever, or multiple emotional voids that they have. What I guess what are some suggestions or tips that you can give them to begin to fill in those voids that they may have within themselves, to you know live a better life, basically.
I would say the main reason why people have to go searching for power sources because they don't believe that they have any power themselves.
mm,
So if I don't think that I have any power or worth or value, then somebody else has to give me that value, that power by connecting to them. But all I'm doing is drawing from them. I'm not adding from them because I didn't come with anything. And so it's like we it's almost like people seek out relationships almost like you seek out like going to the store and finding the right size battery. It's like, okay, a double A, they C through D, they 9-volt battery, like okay, they got a lot of power. Let me connect into them and so I can draw off them. But you're not you're not charging your own self up because you got to realize you have internal power yourself.
mm,
And then the other thing would be the person has never had to operate on their own power. So they've always depended on somebody else to do things and to make decisions for them. So then it's a trust issue with themselves. I don't trust myself enough to handle myself. So somebody else has to be in control of me because I can't trust my own judgment or I've never had to do that before.
mm,
So it's like they're giving responsibility to them that the responsibility has to be for me.
mm.
Did that cover it? Did that make sense?
Yeah.
That's good stuff. And then I give people 3 areas that they need to look at in their life, and that helps them with emotional resuscitation or knowing some things about themselves. You got to look at trust, you got to look at power, and then you got to look at control. Because if we are looking for all these things externally, we got some problems. If we want to allow ourselves to connect or trust other people, that says we don't trust ourselves. Um, if we don't see our power, then that's the reason we have to connect to somebody else charge or get the battery cable to constantly get boost offs to recharge our battery. And then with control, if we don't allow ourselves to have balance with control, um, we won't ever get the resuscitation that we need, because control can drive people away, and it can drive a wedge in existing relationships or future relationships, because there's no such thing as total control. And a lot of these speak from a trauma informed process. A lot of people that experience a lot of trauma and heartache struggle with these inherent issues, and they don't know how to balance it out. And the only way to get better at things is you have to have experiences. So practice. Experiences teach you that these areas can get better. But if you avoid and disconnect yourself or detach yourself from everything, you won't ever get the experiences or gain the wisdom within to learn what you need. And so, trust, power, control, got to pay attention to those things. And we got to, have some balance in those areas.
Yeah. Well, we talked about a lot today. and what I realized, like a couple minutes in, I was like, oh, we didn't even do introductions. I kind of skipped through
Yeah, we did.
that. we just went right in. We didn't do introduction. So
We didn't do that.
yeah, but yeah, it just happened the way it happened.
I was telling you to look at the board too, because you had some stuff on the board that you was gonna tell people.
Yeah, well, I mean, I, I think even what we uncovered, I don't even think I need to do the board right now. I mean, unless we just do it, we always do part two, so we might do part two.
Yeah, we can do part two, because I think that pre-existing conditions is gonna be something that everybody need to know about.
Yeah, well, we don't want to, we threw a lot at people. we don't want to do too much today. But what I did want to highlight before we close today was our new tagline. So we spent a lot of time last week really uh, workshopping and getting on the whiteboard and really trying to figure out the next phase of our progress and kind of come up with something that encapsulated everything that we kind of receive from you all on live, or the things that we have in the works for the business. So that's where, so if you didn't catch us at the beginning, the tagline is infuse purpose, invigorate minds, ignite change. So that's our progress. And once we finalized it, it just felt right. It just felt like this is what we are in our progress. And so that's what we aim to give you all through the Facebook lives, through the things that we create, through the products, through services, whatever, is really focusing on your purpose, changing your mindset, and really getting you to a point where you can have the change that you really want in your life. And so I said you will see that a whole lot more. You're gonna hear us talk about it a whole lot. And you actually be able to see it, soon too. But uh, that's what we really want to do, and hopefully that's what you feel when you listen to us, or you have asked questions or rewatch things, the replay or whatever. That's what we want you to leave with. So that's our outcome that we want from the things that we do. So we really appreciate it. all the comments and feedback we got. Some of the stuff made us laugh and stuff. That would be cool to do the good involved. So I'll get the beginning of each one. we might work that in. We might slide that in. But we enjoy it. So we wanted to be where you can enjoy it, where you can laugh, but you really can get things that really stick to you. So like we want to give you a junk food conversation. We want to give you soul food conversations where they stick to you. Some good, macaroni and cheese and greens and cornbread and
some good nourishment
and fried chicken or baked if you want to do baked. And some pound cake. so, so that's what we want to do. So I guess we'll close out with our introduction since we skipped through that. So, so I am Tan John, the life excavator.
I'm Quincy Bailey, the life doctor.
And I'm Jeffrey Hart, the life champion.
All right. So hopefully you enjoyed it. We enjoyed it. And we will see everybody Thursday. If you haven't connected to the Take the Journey group, please do that. Definitely want to see more and more people in that one because we do go a lot more in depth. I know you might be thinking of how much farther we can go in depth from what we do on Mondays, but we really do go further in oh yeah, and Mel says she the life spectator. She
life spectator.
There she go. So Mel is on screen with us on Thursday. So
yeah. And do us a favor, share this emotional resuscitation with as many people as you would like, because we definitely think a lot of people could use the things that we're discussing, and be looking for the podcast coming soon.
All right. We'll see everybody on Thursday. Have a great rest of your day.
Have a good one.